So we have some wild meisim today. Some wild meisim. A repeat of the Choni Hamagel.
Where'd you leave off? I'm sorry.
We are Shalom es Rebbe Eliezer. We're on Chaf Beis Amud Beis, 5 lines up from the bottom. What's going on here?
I'm good. I got it.
Shear a little later. I mean,
What are you saying?
You make the Moti Shabbos shear a little bit later. I totally missed it. I mean, Abdullah.
Yeah, no. This week was only because I had to catch a flight. That's all. And because of Shabbos Chanukah, we thought people would have parties. We should do it early. Otherwise, we're doing it later. Yeah. It was only this week.
Well, let's not say later, quite, but
Okay, listen. You know what? You're from a closed-minded, open-minded community, and we don't acquiesce to those.
One second, Elio, we can't accommodate the West Coast. That's the bottom line.
No. Last year I was accommodated for. This year, you won't give me 20 minutes. I need 20 minutes. I'll leave it alone.
Okay,
We'll
fine.
see.
Icky will smooth a few more minutes.
The board will bring it up. It'll be
Right.
up at the next board meeting.
Here.
But yeah, board on this
Wouldn't it be?
stuff is BORED.
Very good, Jago.
Icky, that guy was so nervous saying that.
Okay, let's go.
This is cute when I do it.
Okay, ready? So Shalom is Rebbe Eliezer. So again, we were talking about when the davening, when there's too much rain. There's too much rain. Should you daven for it to stop? So we had said the machloek is whether you're allowed. We really said you can't. But for people in Bavel or any place in low-lying areas, then yes, then you did daven because their house can be destroyed. So Shalom is Rebbe Eliezer. Heichen b'shamim yardim v'yispalalu shelo yardu. How much could rain fall and you daven that it shouldn't fall down, that it shouldn't stop, right? That a person should stand on this rock called Keren Offel, right? And he can put his feet into the water. So Gemara asks, it says, we learned in the rabbis, it says you can put his hands into the water. So our answer is Raglav ki Yodav kamina. Raglav is like his Yodav, meaning since he's able to stick his feet into the water, so he could also bend over and put his hands into the water. Yes, and now what is this Keren Offel? So Amar Rabbi Keren Offel. I saw this Keren Offel, the Kama Hutia Beirachiv Gamla, that when a merchant, right, an Arab salesman who's riding a camel. Right? When you stand on top of this rock and you see him, and he's holding a raimach, a spear in his hand, mischazi and niva, and he looks like a telas. Rashi says a worm, meaning this rock that he's saying that is this rock that is so high. He's saying that the water has to go, that somebody could put his feet or his hands into the water, is so high that if you stood on top of it and you saw somebody on the street walking by, he would look like a worm. So obviously he was humoring him by saying when the water gets that high, then you could start davening for the rain to stop, which obviously is never going to happen, right? So that's basically what he meant with that. So Tanur Rabbanan, v'nasati geshmeichem be'itam, and it says, and you give your son, the moon. Sorry, you're going to give the rain at its proper time. Right? Lo shikoira. It's not going to be drunk, right? Meaning Rashi says that means it's not going to be too much rain. But not thirsty. Elabainis. It's going to be a middle range. It calls much like Shamim Merubin, because when there's too much rain, the tashish in the eretz, it's going to make everything muddy. Ve'einu matzia peres, and it's not going to be matzi peres, right? So that's what it means to have geshmeichem be'ita. Right, in the proper time. I guess that's where also you get that the bris should be be'itoy, right? Yeah, so that's davar acher. Now I'm talking about aleph now. The means belele revius or belele shabbosos. It means on when. Well, it's belel revi is Tuesday night. It's Tuesday night and Friday night. Right? That's what it means. Shekei matzino b'yemei Shimon ben Shedach. We found the days of Shimon ben Shedach. Sheyardu kshavet belele revius or belele shabbosos. That the rain went down on Tuesday nights and Friday nights. The wheat was so big, it was the size of kidneys. And the barley was like olive seeds. And lentils were like gold coins. And there was so much of it, they were able to tie it up and store it away. Right? And it's a dogma for the future generations, the idea to let them know how much does a chet cause you to not have anything good. Meaning, if everybody in Klal Yisrael would have been proper, and then they would have all get these types of these large grains. That your avinas take these things away from you, and your chatas keep good things away from you. Show you ice can be They were busy with the binyan beis hamikdash. But yarding sham belayla, and it started raining at night. The machar nosh baruach, and then after it rained at night, the next day the winds blew it, and then the clouds moved. And then the sun came out, and everybody was able to go out to the malacha. And then they knew that the melecha shemayim was in their hands, meaning because it rained at night, so nobody's working at night anyways. And then during the day, everything became very clear. So therefore, that shows that it was the proper thing to do. All right, fine. So Ma'aser shesholchu l'Choni Hamagel. So now we have, even though we had in the Mishnah the whole story of Choni Hamagel, now the Gemara repeats it in much more detail. Yeah. One time, most of Adar went out, right? Meaning Adar was finished. The law Yarduk Sham, and it didn't rain. Shokul Choni Hamagel. So they sent the Choni Hamagel his follow the Yarduk Sham, daven that it should rain. His follow say daven the Yarduk Sham, and the rain didn't come. Og Uga, so he made a circle. V'amad v'sarvin, he stood inside of it. The same way Chabakak did it. Shenema al mishmarti amoida v'syatzva al motzer. He says, I'm going to stand where I am, and I'm going to get ready for people to attack me. Right? This was when Chabakak was trying to figure out why Hashem does good things to bad people, etc., etc. So he was asking that. So he said he's not going to move till he gets an explanation. So Amar lefanov, Ibana Shalom. Banecha, your kids, Samu Pneim Alai, put their faces to me. Shanika ben Bayis lefanecha, because I'm like a ben Bayis in front of you. Meaning, this is Choni saying this. Nishbani b'shimcha gadol. I'm going to make a shua in your name. She'eni zaz mikan achdrachma banecha until you have rachmanas on your kids. So schilu hikshamim minatzkin. So then the rain started dripping. Amrullah Talmidim. So Talmidim told him, Rebbe, we see you, but we don't want to die. Meaning we're seeing you, and we don't want to die. Meaning rain is not enough. This rain is not enough. So kimedumin we think that the
Jacob, is that a play on the words? The Rayanusach is rain.
Oh, very good. Very good. I didn't cop that. I hear that. But somebody's got to mute. Hold on a second. There you go. Thank you. Okay. So Omar, so they thought that the reason why Hashem made it rain is like this. Now he can get out of it. Right? So Omar, loikach shalti. No, that's not what I asked. Meaning, Choni went and told Hashem, that's not what I asked for. Ella gishmi boiras shichin amaras. I'm asking for rain to fill up the boiras, the shichin and the amaras. So Yardu Bazaf, it started coming down like with anger. Achakol tipa b'tipa, until each drop was the size of a barrel. B'shiro chachamim, and the chachamim said that the measurement was she'ein tipa b'chusa milug, and that there was no drop. It was raining so heavy that there was no drop of rain any less than the size of a lug, which is very large. So I'm like Talmid of Rebbe, we want to see, but we don't want to die, meaning from too much rain. Yeah, we think that this rain is only coming to wash away the world. So I'm really fun of, which I don't understand, because don't they know about the haftacha that I'm saying that there's not going to be a mabel? No. Saying what were they? Did they really think that they were going to die, or maybe they just thought they were?
It's not a marble for
Maybe,
the whole world where they are.
You mean only them, and that's it?
Yeah, that area.
Yeah, marble for the whole
Okay, I hear
world
that.
was the
I hear that.
whole world.
Okay, so then he says, "Amr lefanav loy kaf shalti, eliyashev ratzon bracha unedava." I asked for gishmei ratzon bracha unedava. That it should be a good rain, but it's a bracha, and it's a blessing and a present. So yardu kitikron, and then it started raining like regular. Until everybody went up to the Harabayis because of the rain, which we had said that was because they went up to the Beis Hamikdash because there's a roof there, everybody could protect themselves. So I'm like Rebbe, it's the same way you daven that they should come down, daven that they should go away. So I'm like, that we don't daven for too much, for things that it's too much good, which is what the sugya that we were talking about. He still brought a parhoida, right, a special carbon that where you admit to doing something wrong. So they brought him a parhoida. He leaned his two hands on it.
What roof are you talking about?
I'm not sure. That it seems like the roof under the Beis Hamikdash. That's
Where?
in the Azah. What?
Where's there a roof?
There's part of it has a roof. The itztabas and stuff, that's what I thought. But I mean, how many people yes, I hear what you're saying. How many people are fitting under that anyways, right?
Yeah.
I think it was a Yerushalmi. I don't know, but that's
he brings the Yerushalmi, yes.
So then I mean, how many people are you fitting under there anyways? But I don't know. Anyway, so
Didn't the way Hurdas built the Beis Hamikdash? Wasn't the whole Beis Hamikdash raised? When Hurdas built the Beis Hamikdash, he raised the whole thing up, so they could have all fit under the Beis Hamikdash.
That's what you think?
Maybe.
But it still wasn't. It didn't have a roof on it, right?
It was covered by the Beis Hamikdash. It was a buyer under the Beis Hamikdash.
What are you talking about?
He raised the whole Beis Hamikdash up on stilts.
You think that's what it's talking about?
The whole mountain. Yeah.
I hear it. I don't know. Was that at what time was this? At what time in history was this?
It was after it was built.
Why can't it be that they were like we said before, they were in them swufim? We see that the nace happened. Why is it so schwer?
No, I'm saying how you doing it.
How you fitting everybody there?
Yeah, that's the first thing.
So you don't want to say it's the same thing like how they did Kairim back in the.
Oh, but then they were out in the open.
Because they were
Put
in
it on the
Azara
floor,
then.
please.
I hear.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I don't know what the. I'm sorry.
Giving us a tour of Florida there.
I'm just stacked. We went out to eat until like Daven Ma'ariv and all that. And now everybody abandoned me. I'm just sitting here. They all left. I'm sitting here. They left me packages. Thank you. They left me packages from a grocery store. I don't even know who everybody is. Whatever. Anyways, okay. And the table I was sitting at, they decided to clean up too, so I have no table. Anyway, so I don't know exactly. We need Shmuley. Maybe Shmuley could weigh in on this. So either way, so he took a par haida, right? And he samach shtei yodav alav. Amar lefanav Rajam, Amcha Yisroel sheitzezim Mitzrayim. You're in the nation of Klal Yisrael that you took on Mitzrayim. Einan yecholim loy b'roif tova loy b'roif pironis. They can't deal with too much good and not too much bad. This mama sounds like our generation. Isn't that the complaint of our generation? Everything has to be nice and smooth. Don't stress them out. Don't. Right? As you're saying, this nation doesn't do well with too much good and not with too much bad. Ka'asta aleim, right? If you became angry at them, they can't handle it. Kishpata aleim taiva. If you give too much good to them, they can't handle that either. That the rain should stop and there should be a revach to the world.
Like in the midbar. Like in the midbar.
That's exactly what he's referring to, right? He's referring to like by the midbar, right? So miyad, noshva ruach, and then the rain started blew, and it's pasru of him, and the clouds went away. V'zorcha chama, the sun came out. V'yotzam l'sada, and everybody went out to the fields of V'yilahem Kamein and Pitrias, and they brought back from themselves, what do you call it? Mushrooms, funguses, right? Funguses. Yeah. So, which I guess makes sense, right? It grew, right? That's with a lot of moisture, so that's what it grows. But either way, so that's what it was. So they were very happy. So Shalach L'Shem B'Shadach. Shem B'Shadach said to him, Mali Chayneat, if you weren't Chayne, Gazreni Allah Chanida, I'd put you in Chayram. She'ilu Shnaim Kishna. Right? But how about the years that Elio, right? We knew Elio had 7 years of what do you call it? Of a drought. And Elio had the keys to the Gshaman. Right? And so and you're gonna find how do you touch this there? Right? Meaning, aren't we finding that you're being Mechal Hashem Shemayim the way you're talking? Right? Meaning, Eliyahu Navi never did that. Yeah, so why are you able to do that? What can I do to you? That you are doing a chet in front of, you do a chet in front of Hashem. And he still does whatever you want. Like a son who does a chet to a father, and the father still does his ratzon. And the son says to him, wash me in hot water and wash me with cold water. Give me shkedim, a parsikim, remind right, give me nuts, almonds, parsikim is peaches, pomegranates. And he gives it to him. The father and mother are going to be happy, and whoever gives birth is going to also be happy, right? I think a lot of those were isn't what Yaakov told the Shvatim to bring to Yosef? Goizim, Shkein, something like that. A few of those. This past week's parsha. Anyways, so that was Shimon Mishal. So that's basically a repeat of the Mishnah. So Torah Rabbanan, Mashulchu b'nei Lishkas Agazes Choni Hamagel. What did the b'nei Lishkas Agazes? That's the Sanhedrin, because that's where they stayed. What did they send to Choni Hamagel? Sigzar Oimer v'Yokom Lo V'al Drochecha Noga Or. Right, so you're going to make a gezerah, and it's going to be v'Yokom Lo, and it's going to work for you. V'al Drochecha Noga Or, and on your ways the light is going to shine. Meaning what? V'Sigzar Oimer, you say gezerah Ata Gzarta Milamata v'Kadosh Baruch Hu B'Kaim Mamirecha Milamala. You, Choni Hamagel, said the Gezerah on the lower world, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu was in the upper world. And on your ways, there's going to be light. The door that was dark, you made them light with your tefillas. Fine. So then, Kihishpilu, V'Taimer gave up. And they said, they've gone low. And they said that you have to lift them up. A door that was That's low down. You lift it up with your tefillas. Yeah. Shachinayim Yashia, and anybody whose eyes are low, Yashia, you should save them. Dar sheshach ba'avaynai hashata b'tfilas eva. A dar that is I guess it really means I don't know. Does it mean swimming? I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how you type sheshach, but it's a dar that's doing a lot of averos. You save them with your tefillas. Yamale inaki, and that somebody who's not clean, you save them. Dar shloya yanakim milatata b'tfilas echa. Dar that wasn't clean, you save them with your tefillas. But the malik babar kapecha, and you're gonna escape. You're gonna really take them away from the bar kapecha, from the how do you touch this? The cleanliness of your hands. That's it, right? But latatai b'masi yadecha abrurin. You've saved them from the masi yadecha that are clear, right? Meaning it's all this basically. These are the same things over and over again. That Choni Hamagel took a door that wasn't right to have it rain for them, and he saved them. Okay, so I'm Rav Yochanan.
Yaakov, the table here is open if you want.
Okay, well, see, I'm pulling over here. Okay, so I'm Rav Yochanan. Call Yom Shalai Tzaddik. All those days of the Tzaddik, Mitzdayer al Mikrazeh. This is one wild story right here, right? All his days he was mitzdayer on the pasuk Shira Malis B'Shuva Hashem Hashiva Sina Yinu Kecholmer, right? That's when Hashem returns us from to Tzion. Yinu Kecholmer. So it's going to be like a dream. Now that's referring to the 70 years of the Golus, right? The Golus Bavel was 70 years. So this is referring to the Golus Bavel. So it'll be like a dream. Omar Mi'ika Denayim Shivin Shnin B'Chalma. Is it possible for somebody to sleep 70 years? Right? How can it be that the whole Golus Bavel is like a dream? Right? That means that somebody's dreamt for 70 years.
It seems that way. We're in Golus now for 2,000 years.
And you think it's all a dream?
Well, 70 years is a dream. That's like a Shabbos nap compared to 2,000 years. So.
I hear. Right. So the question is also, I mean, first of all, you're right. You could dream. You could dream 70 years in a 5 minutes. No, doesn't they say dreams last a few seconds? And you.
Yeah, something like.
And also, l'chayr, that wasn't meant to be literal. It wasn't meant to be literal. Okay, let's see right in the story. So Yom Echad, one time he was traveling. He saw a person planting carob trees. How many years is it going to take for this tree to give off carobs? So he said to him, it's going to take 70 years for the carob tree to give off fruits. Are you pashut that you're going to be living another 70 years? This man, meaning himself, when he was born, he found carob trees, which means somebody else planted them. Like my fathers planted it, right? Shasli Nami Lebrai. So I'm keeping it going and I'm planting it for my kids. Meaning he's not necessarily expecting to be alive for 70 years. So Yosef Kakarach Rifta. So after he heard this, he sat down to eat bread. Also, I shouldn't say. Then he fell asleep. Nim, and also I should say he became tired. Nim, he fell asleep. And then around him went a rock, grew around him. And it became hidden from any eyes. And he slept for 70 years. When he got up, he saw that the person was picking fruits from the trees. Are you the one who planted it? I'm the grandson. Must be. I slept for 70 years. And he saw that his chamar had I don't know how you say it, the kids. It had kids and then it had grandkids. So what happened? Also offspring, right? But offspring of offspring. Right, so also he went to his house. Amar lahu, Bray the Choni Hamagel Mikaim is the son of Choni Hamagel still alive. Amar lei, Bray Lessa, Bar Bray Isa. His son is not alive, but his grandson is. So Amalu, Ana Choni Hamagel. I am Choni Hamagel. They didn't believe him. Also, the Beis Hamedrash, he went to the Beis Hamedrash. Shaminu l'Rabbanan. The Kari heard the Rabbanan saying, "Nehirin Shmaitzin kibeshni Choni Hamagel." The sugyas are so clear, like the years of Choni Hamagel, because everything was clear when Choni Hamagel was in charge. The Chiyava Ayil, the Beis Midrash, when we go up to the Beis Hamedrash, Kol Kushi Davalu l'Rabbanan Havim Mefaraklu. Any kasha that the Rabbanan had, he answered. So Amrlahu, Anan to you, I'm him. Like him knew. Of course, they didn't believe him. And why would they believe him? And they didn't give him chashivas the way he should get. So Chalash Daite, his das got sad by Rachme, and he asked for Rachmanas Umis, and he died. So Maraba, I know Damriinchi, I Chavrusa Emisi. So that's when we say that you either have a Chavrusa or you have death, right? Which Rashi says. So I mean, everybody says Chavrusa Emisusa means if you have a Chavrusa, then you're good. If you don't have Chavrusa, not. Right? But Rashi says if a person doesn't get the proper respect from his friends, then it's very bad. That's the way Rashi understands. Chavrusa Emisusa. Now, what is the pshat?
He didn't prove to anyone that it was him. How do we know?
No. How is he supposed to prove it?
So how do we know it?
How do we know what?
Who's writing this Gemara? They didn't believe him. Who's writing this Gemara that it was him?
I don't know. I mean, how do they even know that he got depressed?
Yeah, they didn't believe him. I'm saying, who's writing this Gemara afterwards to say that it was him? He didn't prove it to anyone.
I hear that.
Should have showed his license.
What are you saying?
Should have showed his license.
I don't.
He said he could have showed his license.
Oh, I can't hear. Oh, he showed his license, or a senior citizens discount. I don't know. Anyway, so
I'm saying the Gemara is coming afterwards. Someone's writing this.
Yeah. So this is actually a good sugya for somebody who's sitting in Florida, because it seems like some of the Mefarshim say, it's in the Ein Yaakov, that what he meant by 70 years is because 70 years is the average life, at least back then. And he wasn't asking about how you could dream for 70 years, but he was wondering how people can run around after mundane stupidity that's temporary for 70 years of their life and not chap that it's temporary. And by not sitting and learning, they're wasting their lives away. So then he saw this fellow planting a boxer tree, a carob tree, and he was planting not for himself, he was planting for future generations, right? So this guy was obviously doing something in this world, even though it wasn't going to benefit him. So then he started understanding it, and then he sat down to eat, which is also temporary, and then he fell asleep, and that's how he was trying to understand what people were doing, something along those lines. If you look at the Ein Yaakov, you could see more about it. But that's basically what I mean. That's like the easy part to understand was that part, that for 70 years he's just seeing people wasting away, living their lives as if they're in a dream. Right? It's not a bad word for Zois Chanukah. Right? If you go, that Zois Chanukah is the Gemara din. Yeah, fine. Okay, anyway, that's that story. Fine. Abba Chelki Barbary. Now we have more stories. Abba Chelki Barbary the Choni Hamagel Hava. What are you saying?
No, I was going to say, no, I'm not going to say.
Okay, it must be Zois Chanukah then.
It's not as fun when you don't.
Yeah. He's baiting you.
Byron, you're making us all question if you're okay.
I was going to say, the Yaakov said about the tshuva, that's all the Esrig dealers. The end of Hanukkah is the last tshuva for the Esrig dealers. That's what it says in this forum. I know that because I used to sell Yisroel years ago.
Very good.
What's the last day of tshuva for the donut sellers who charge $10 a donut?
Oh.
That's what I was going to say, but I didn't say it. That's what I was going to say.
That's Pesach.
I think it's the first day of Sukkot.
Yeah. Anyways, okay.
I thought maybe you're going to say something. Harei Anika ben Shivim Shana. Something along those lines.
Very good, parents.
Way past their parents. That's way in the rear view mirror.
The parrots, it ain't kid. That's what he's saying, parrots. It ain't kid. Yeah. Anyways, Baruch Hashem. Should only have many more. Anyways.
Amen.
So Abba Chelki Barbarate the Choni Hamagel Hava. So Abba Chelki was the grandson of Choni Hamagel. So I guess you see here, by the way, that there's such a thing as, you ask, like, what do you mean? How is this fellow? Why should I go to this fellow just because his father was a rabbi or something? Well, it seems like this ran in the family, right? So they would go to his grandson. When the world needed rain, have a mishadri rabbanon. They would send rabbanon to him, and he would ask for rachmanos. And the rain would come.
Reb Shai was an anical of his.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. But I just wonder, with all these cases, and the Gemara is going to have a bunch of them coming up. Were they in their own world that they needed rabbanim to come tell them that there's a famine, or not a famine, a drought? Like where were they? No, I mean I understand.
There's a lot of people that seem to be on their own planet.
Okay, I guess, but you think that he's a gadol, he should have his finger on the pulse. You're saying he didn't.
Raya to move out of town where there's no one. They have to go tell him that something's wrong.
Or maybe it's a riot. Don't go to a good convention because otherwise you for sure would have known that there was a drought. Well, I don't know.
Yaakov, a shameless plug right there. Okay, no
Yaakov, what you're saying is right. A gadol would know, but on the other hand, I mean, I'm not clearly saying anything against, let's say, like Rav Steinman. Rav Steinman only ate a piece of moldy an old piece of challah and a cup of hot water every day. So how would he know if there's a drought or not?
I mean, it wouldn't make no difference to him.
Yeah, what's it like?
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, he had a challah left from Malava Malka, and Baruch Hashem, there's always hot water. So
he wasn't having donuts, right? Yes, yeah, and I hear. So he probably, he's totally removed. That's great. They're gonna fit in with a couple of more stories. I don't know if today's daf, tomorrow's daf, whatever it is. Yeah, I hear. Anyway, so Vasa Mitra, so it would rain. Zimna Chada, it's Amala Mitra. So one time the world needed rain. Shad the Rabbanon, Zubid the Rabbanon Lagabe. So the Rabbanon sent a pair of the Rabbanon to him. The Mipai, Rachmi, the Nasi Mitra should have Rachmanas, and rain should come. So Azal Lebese Velayashkahu, they went to his house, they didn't find him. Azal Bidabra. They went to the fields, Vashkahu, they have a karafik, and they found him working the earth. See, now that's a kasha. He's working the earth, and he didn't know that there was a drought. Right, so this one is already a little bit tougher. Anyway, Yovel Shama, they gave him shalom. Yeah, Veloy Asberluhu Ape, and he didn't even greet them. He ignored them. Yeah, the Panya when that night, when the work was over. Menaket CV, when he would hold on to wood, he'd bring home wood, right? Dora CV umara b'chad kasva. He would carry the wood and the mara and the shovel or the hoe, whatever it is, on one shoulder, or glima b'chad kasva, and his jacket on the other shoulder, right? Kula or chaloi sayim the whole way he didn't wear shoes. Kimatila the maya sayim when he got into the water, he put on his shoes. Kimatila his mivihigi when he came to bushes of thorns, the linu lemane, he lifted up his clothing so that his clothing wouldn't get ruined. Kimata lemasa, when he came to town, nafka devisu la'ape ki mikashta, when he came back to town, his wife would come out all dressed up. Right? The tznius people love this Gemara, but we'll get to it soon, yeah? So kimata lebese, when he got home, I'm sorry, also devisu Bereish's wife went first, v'hadar ayal iu, and then he went, v'hadar ayal rabbanon, and the rabbanon went after him. So he sat down and he broke bread, whatever, he wrapped bread, literally, meaning he ate. And he didn't even offer the Rabbanon to come and eat the bread. He gave out bread to the children. The older son got one piece. To the younger son, Trey got two. So he said to his wife, Yadana the Rabbanon, I mishum mitraka, so I know that the Rabbanon are here because they needed to rain. Basically, let's go up to the roof and ask for Rachmanas. After the Meratzi HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'yasi mitra, maybe Hashem will have Rahmanas and the rain will come, and we won't get credit for it because we'll go daven for it before they even asked us about it. So Sakul they went up to the roof, he stood in one corner of the and she stood in the other corner, right? Just like the Emois had the same thing. And then the clouds came up from the corner that the wife was on. And when he came down from the roof, Amalahu, am I also Rabbanan? Why are you here? So Amrulay, Shadrilan Rabbanan, Lagabi Demali, by Rachmi Amitra. Said we were sent by the Rabbanan that you should daven for the rain. So Amalu, Baruch Hamakam Shalai Yitzchak Baruch Hashem, you didn't need me because it rained anyways. So now the Chachamim had it with all this. So they confronted him. So they said, Amrulay, Yadina the Mitra Machmas Mar Huda. So we know that the rain came because of you. Right? But tell us, Mar, Hani Mili, the Tmiyalan. Tell us, explain to us all these things that we're wondering about that you did. My time, Lamar, Sham, how come when you are when we gave you shalom, you didn't even look at us? I'm an hourly worker, a daily worker, and I can't stop my work for this. Right? Which is a big mussar to learn from this. Right? Meaning if you're getting paid by the hour, he held, I don't know if we paskin like this or not. I mean, basically the way we paskin is we do what's expected. So I think it's expected to be answer people. But if a guy's getting paid by the hour or by the day, and he's saying that he's not allowed to answer them because that would disturb from what he's getting paid for. Right? So again,
the cell phone is out.
In brachas, we have tefillah k'tzara.
Right.
If a person's working.
Correct, but he still does a tefillah.
Yeah, but he cuts it short because he's accountable.
Yes.
He's accountable to a boss.
Yes, that's true. That's true. But I don't. Again, but the halacha would normally be is that that again you have to know what the minig hamakam is and how it's expected to be. Right. So okay, whatever it is, he was obviously very mach. What are you saying, Rabbeinu?
The cell phone for sure is out for the chevra.
That's 100%. 100%. You're getting paid by the hour and you're spending time on your cell phone. Guys, you know what? Baruch Hashem, I get that every once in a while somebody asks this. Like, how does he cheshbon with the work? With work, he takes out his phone. Yeah, it's not a pashut thing, not pashut at all. Right? We said once that Rav Moshe says that on a fast day, right? If your fasting is negatively affecting your work, so you break your fast. You break your fast. Your shibud is to the balabas, not the fasting. Right? Anyway, so he was makbar on that. Okay, so then that's why he didn't greet them. My time at Dora Mar Tzivi, Echad Kaspe, Glima Echad Kaspe. How come you put the wood on one shoulder and the jacket on the other shoulder? Right? So Amar Lahu, Talis Shulais, it was a borrowed talis. I borrowed it to wear it. I didn't borrow it to put the wood on top of it. So therefore I couldn't do that. Fine. My time Akula Archa Loisayim Mar Masane. How come you didn't wear shoes? When you got to the water, you put on the shoes. The whole way I could see. So I could see where I'm walking. So I didn't need shoes. But in the water, you can't see what's going on under the water. So you put on shoes to go into the water. My time, how come when you got to thorns, you lifted up your clothing? This one, it heals, right? The leg heals, right? But the clothing does not. Meaning, I'll have to fix the clothing. My skin will get fixed by itself, but the clothing will not get fixed by itself. Which is also a fascinating thing. That is that the body, which is natural, you think that the body should have more chashivas than clothing, and he's saying no, the body will heal itself. Clothing will not.
So Yaakov,
yeah.
I don't know if I'm right. It hit me. This reminds me of the Maisa when the Balei Taisus went to the Rambam to check him out, and he did all these weird things. Ostensibly, it looked weird, but then they asked him about each thing, and he had a very good eretz for
Right,
each
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It's
similar
like
to that.
That seems like it's based on this Gemara.
I hear. I want to talk. I got to look at the Mefarshim on
Uh-huh.
that and see. Yeah, I hear. So my time that the wife came out all dressed up. He said to them, I shouldn't put my eyes at other women, so therefore she makes herself look real nice, and therefore I'm not going to put my eyes at other women. Now, you can understand why the tznius people all take this and say that a woman's ultimately dressed for her husband and not dressed for the street, which garata. They happen to be right that nowadays it's totally lehefach, but that's a different story. We're not gonna. We can get stuck on this for the rest of the night. But Lamaisa, is meaning the point that you could take out of it is that, and this is another Florida Gemara. Don't think Yazagros a tzaddik that seeing preachers is not going to negatively affect you, right? That's half the avoid over here is avoiding the preachers. Anyways, so why do you come here? A good question, right? Anyway, so my time, how come the wife went in first? And then you went after, and then we, the Rabbanan, went. He says, I don't know who you were, right? So if I go in first, I'm leaving my wife outside with two strange men. Yeah. Okay, a fascinating thing.
Yichud or tznius?
No, it's not. Not yichud. Yeah, it's tznius. Right. I don't know if it's tznius or safety. I thought safety.
Yeah, I would think safety, sure.
Rashi says it's like list him. How do I know that? How do I know that you guys are not a bunch of crooks? Leave my wife outside alone with you. Yeah. Fine. So my time, how come you didn't offer us bread? He says because there wasn't enough bread, right? And you would have said no anyways. Right? This is called Genevas Das. This is your classic Genevas Das, which you're saying there was very little bread. You saw there was very little bread. If I'm going to offer you, you're going to turn it down. So why am I offering you if it's the whole thing is a farce? So therefore, I'm not doing it. Which is exactly what Genevas Das is inviting somebody to a chasana, inviting somebody to a bar mitzvah. You know he has another bar mitzvah. So you decide to send him an invitation like this. He'll feel good, right? And then you come out looking like a big tzaddik.
Maybe he wants a check.
It could be. So then that's also not right. So if you're doing it to be mechazik somebody, I think the place can say it's okay. But if you're really just doing it to make yourself impressive, then that's Genevas Das. Right? So that's what he's saying here too. So my time Yov Marli Yanuka Kshisha Chada Rifta Zutri tray. How can you give the older one piece and the younger one two? Amalu Haika Bevesa. One stays home all day. And the younger one sits in shul all day, so he doesn't have food. The one that's home can eat all day. The one that's in yeshiva can't, so he gets two. My time, how come the clouds and the rain started from your wife's side and not from your side? He says, because a woman is always in the house, and she's always feeding the aniyim. And she's instantly being mahana the aniyim. And I give money to the aniyim, but it's not immediate. The effect is not immediate, right? Which is also interesting. He's saying that giving tzedakah to an ani that has an immediate effect is better than giving tzedakah that's not immediate. Even though Lamaisa, we say by the Rambam, he says with the levels of tzedakah, he says giving a guy a business is a higher level tzedakah than just giving him a handout. Even though giving him a business is not instant, right? He needs to run the business. But I think there it's better is because he's
perpetually.
It's more respectable. It's much more respectable.
No, he's giving him perpetually, forever.
Yeah, okay,
basically, Reb, your whole building fund is out the window.
So I think he's just staying in Florida another couple of months.
There you go.
I doubt the Rambam means you could starve the guy until his first paycheck.
Starve him?
That's what the Rambam means. It doesn't mean give him a job. That's the best thing. Oh, and starve him until you pay in the first place.
No, I understand, but it's still
Comes together.
still,
You give
it's not an
him
instant.
until he gets.
Okay, enough. Okay. Yeah. Inami or Hanu Biraini to have a Beshivivusan, or that there was these Biraini, right? Those were Ame Eretz, Rashi says. Ana by Rachmi de Lamusu. I have Rachmanas, they should just die. He by Rachmi de Lahadrupati of the right, that they should do tshuva. Bahadru, and then they did tshuva. Right? So we had this in Brachas also where the Gedolim died, that they asked daven that the Amaratzim should die. Okay, whatever it is, that was his story. Fine. Hanan, Hanan, who was one that was hidden, Barbarte de Choni Hamagel. He was the son of the daughter of Choni Hamagel. When the world needed rain, they would send a child to him, to Beirav, from the Yunuke of Beirav, right? Meaning school age kids. And they would hold on to the bottom of his clothing. Father, give us rain. So you stand in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Asa b'shvil elu, do it for these kids. Because they don't even know the difference between a father who gives rain and a father who doesn't. Meaning they're calling me Abba, and they don't realize that the Abba that needs to give rain is Hashem, not me. But they're told to come to me, so they think that like I'm Lord, sort of like Hashem. Right? So give these innocent people, give them their rain. Okay, if I call it Chanan HaNechba, why was it called Chanan, the one that was hidden? He hid himself in the Beis HaKisei, meaning even, right? So really, according to Shulchan Aruch, there's halachas of how when you go to the bathroom, you can't uncover yourself too much, which really doesn't not applicable nowadays. But he even went more than that. So that's why he was called that. Now, how does anybody know, Naftali? How does anybody know how he wasn't the Beis HaKisei? So I don't know.
We had
Fine.
that. So we had the other Gemara.
What, that they hid under the bed and
Yeah,
maybe. Or back then they went to the bathroom in public and people could see. Okay, so I'm gonna let Zrika.
If he was so mocked,
what do you say?
Go ahead, Gershon.
I thought it was because no one ever saw him use the bathroom. You can't go less than a tefach before and the tefach behind. That's impossible.
Right.
You can't hide more than that. It means that no one ever saw him go. That means he didn't. No one ever knew that he even hit it.
I hear. But yeah, I don't care. What are you saying that pshat from?
For me, you can't. I mean, what's the tefach is what, 3 inches?
Yeah.
How do you uncover less than 3 inches and go to the bathroom?
They wore robes. They wear
2.5 inches.
They didn't have to. You can think about a robe and think about how you can relieve yourself in a robe.
Yeah, the suffix that someone would get a drip and someone would say he's a krus shavka, who make Xeris. He was willing to take that risk.
Apparently.
I guess.
I have a bigger issue. If he was so mocked on being hidden and being whatever, why are we talking about it? Isn't it like
that's sort of what I was asking, Simon. That's sort of what I was asking. Like, how did anybody know?
Well, it's like why we talk? It's so inappropriate. If I talk like that, my wife would smack me.
Simon.
Yeah.
You learning Chumash Bereshis for the past 8 weeks or whatever it is? We know a heck of a lot more about the obviously most than I ever wanted to know in my life. You know that?
True.
It's like wild what we know about them.
You know what? Masking.
Oh, look at that. Shh. I hear it. Which, okay, then you get into the whole Shiloh. What's Lashon Hara? What's not? Like, all right, very good. Touche. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm later of Zrika or of Savra. Zrika told her, Chazi, come see, Mape Kifi Dar the Yisroel, the Chasidi the Bavel. Look at what the difference is between the strong people of Eretz Yisroel to the Chasidim in Bavel. When the Chasidim the Bavel, Rav Huna and Rav Chisda, they were Rav Huna and Rav Chisda, they were the Chasidim of Bavel. Kiyav Mitztaref, Alma Lemitra, when the world needed rain, Amri Nichnif, let's get everybody together, and Nichnif Hadadi, let everybody come together, when you buy Rachmin, and we're going to ask the Rachmanis. After the Mirti HaKadosh Baruch Hu, maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu will find favor with us. Right? The Yesi Mitra, and then it'll come rain. Kifi the Ar, the Yisroel, but the strong people are at the Sokan, Rabbi Yaina, Avuad, Rabbi Yana, the father of Ramani, you have a mitzvah of Hamal Mitra, when the world needed rain, have a ayal base. We go to his house, Farmalahu, Havali Kualki, give me my bags. The Azel Vaisali Bazuza Ibura, and I'm gonna go get you some some wheat or grain for a zuz, which is a lot of money. She says, so you have enough when you go outside, Azul the he went and stand in a deep place. Right, that's what we say always, the chazan was supposed to be lower down. So he went to a very low place, and he stood in a hidden place, and he would cover himself with sackcloth, and he asked for Rachmanis, and the rain came, because he have a asi lebes, and when he would come home, he said, I simar ibura. They would ask him, did you bring any wheat or grain? Amalu amina oil v'asa mitra. He said, since the rain came, hashta revach alma, therefore the world is not going to have growth. Right? So he's saying, meaning I decided not to buy grain because now that it started raining, it's going to get cheaper. So basically, he was the great people of eretz Yisroel were more hidden than the great people in Bavel. Fine. The Surah Bimani, Ray, Rabmani, his son Havaka, the people of the Bein Nasiya were bothering him. So he bowed on the kever of his father. He said to him, my father, they're being mitzarmi. Yom Echad, and they were passing by there. In good karadisis vasayu, had the kabila olayu the loikam mitzarule, and there's the knees, literally the legs of the horses, were stuck until they were makabel themselves to stop bothering Ramani. Right, so his father had a lot of power. Ramani have a shchiach kamed Rav Yitzchak ben eliyashev. He was common. They was always found by Rav Yitzchak ben eliyashev. Amalei asiri de bechami kamatzarli. The rich people of my father-in-law's house are bothering me. Amar liyainu, let them become aniyim. V'yanu, they became aniyim. Amar, he said, but they're pushing me. Now they're pushing me for money because they're so poor. Amar, so he said, liyasu, let them become rich. V'yasu, and he became rich. Amar, loy mikabli alai inchi basi. The people from my house, meaning his wife, is not makubal to me. Amar lei, ma'ashma, what's her name? Chana. Her name is Chana. So Sisyafi Chana, he said Chana should become beautiful. Benisyafis, and then she became beautiful. Amar lei, kamagandrale, now that she's beautiful, now she's pressuring me. Right? So you think things have changed. Right? You get the, in the Shalom Bayis, you get the wives that really look good. They're not easy on the husbands. Right? Okay, so let her go back to being not as beautiful. And she went back to being whatever. I don't want to say ugly, whatever it is. So he clearly had a lot of power, this Rabbi Yitzchak ben eliyashev. So fine, Hanu Trey Talmid, did have a kamei, Rabbi Yitzchak ben eliyashev. There were two Talmidim in front of Rabbi Yitzchak ben eliyashev. Amrulei, Iboy ma rachmi alon denitkim tuva. Mar should have Rachmanis on us that we become big, smart people. Amrulu, Imi Haisa Ushalachti. I used to have these type of koyach to give these type of brachas, and I no longer have it. Fine. Rabbi Yossi bar Avin have a shchiyah committed. Rabbi Yossi ben Yaikros. Rabbi Yossi bar Avin was used to go to Rabbi Yossi ben Yaikros Shavke, and then he left him. Should we stop here? Oh, let's just go a little bit because tomorrow again I can only learn at 6:30, so I don't know how much time I have to catch a flight. So I don't know how much time I'll have. So I guess we'll do a little bit if you don't mind. So anyway, so he left him. He left Rabbi Yossi ben Yaikros, and he came in front of Rav Ashi. Yom Echad Shamei the Kagaris. He heard them learning. Amar Shmuel. Shmuel said, "Hashaylu dogman ayam b'Shabbos." Somebody who takes a fish out of water on Shabbos, that's trapping. Even sheyavish by Kesela, we had this in the Gemara Shabbos. Since the the skin, a coin's worth of skin becomes dry, on Shabbos chayav is chayav for trapping and killing it. Amalei v'lema mar ubein sapirov. How come you didn't say that dry spot has to be in between the fins, right? Just not stam anywhere on the fish. Amalei. So he said to him, lamar he Rabbi Yossi ben Rav Avin Amar. Do you not think that Rabbi Yossi ben Rav Avin is the one that said it? Right? How come you saying it in your own name? Amalei. So he said to him, Ananiyu. That's me. I'm the one that said it. Didn't you used to be in the yeshiva Rabbi Yosef ben Yoikros? So Amalei, he said yes. So Amalei, my time of Shavkes, how come you left his yeshiva? My time of Shavkes Marva Asahacha, how come you left the yeshiva and you came here? Amalei, Gabra the Albreva Albarte Lechos Alai Didi Hechi Chayas. If this fellow, not fellow, but if Rabbi Yosef ben Yoikros cannot have Rahmanas on his son and on his daughter, he's not going to be able to have Rahmanas on me. So what does this mean? Again, once we're doing wild stories, so we might as well continue to do another couple of wild stories. Berei Mai. So what does it mean that he didn't have Rahmanas on his son? One time he hired workers in the fields. And then Nagalu means when it came night and he didn't bring them anything to eat. Obviously, the minhag back then was to feed your workers. So he didn't feed them. So Amr Lebre says he told his son, Kfinan, we're hungry. Avayasvi Tusi Tainas. So he was sitting under a date tree, a fig tree, I'm sorry. Amar Taina Hitzia Peresacha. So he said, and obviously it wasn't meant to be ripe yet. So his son said, fig tree, give off Peres. And my father's workers will eat. Afiku, Ba'achlu. And a nace happened and the figs grew. Meanwhile, the father came. Don't be angry in your das against me. The reason why I didn't come till now, till it was dark, is because mitzvah tarchan. I was busy with a mitzvah. Ad hashta who the sagoy, and I was busy with it until now. So I'm really Rahmana. So they said to him that Hashem should make you satisfied the way your son satisfied us. From where did he give you food? He made a nace. He told the tree to give off fruit. The fig tree to give off fruit. You matriach Hashem to give off fruit when it wasn't the proper time. So you should also be gathered not in your time, and you should die before you were supposed to. So you see that he was very strict with his son. So if he's so strict with his son, he's going to be strict with me. So that's why he left his yeshiva. Right? That's what he had said. Parte Maihi. What's with the daughter? So if he had a very pretty daughter, he saw this guy. So he was looking at a hole in the fence. And he was looking at her. And then he got caught. The guy got caught by her father. What is this? Rebbe, if I'm not going to be able to have her, should I not at least look at her? Right? So Amarla, right? This is the number one thing for people looking at pritzes. Amarla, it's just like a foreign concept, but this is the way males think, as crazy as it sounds, but that's the way males think. Amarla, my daughter's causing somebody to have pain. Shuvi lafret, go back to your dirt, meaning that she should die. And nobody should trip up against you, right? Which is again, this is the second Gemara that the tznius police use as proof that women have to be careful not to cause themselves to be looking enticing. Anyways, okay, I appreciate the overtime. So tomorrow around 6:30, we'll learn. I hope that's okay. I appreciate everybody understanding it. All right, a gute Nacht and a guten Zois Chanukah and a Gemach Sima Tova for those that go with it.
Thank you.
Gershi, you back in? Oh. Tzviak,
Were you giving a share in the morning?
I don't know because I don't know what time the davening is going to go to. I'm going to try, but I can't guarantee it.
Did anything happen this morning?
No, we didn't. Today I knew it wasn't going to be.
Okay,
I
good.
told them on Friday.
Very good. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm
Keep
sorry
on.
about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
That's excellent.
Have a good night. Enjoy.
All right. Sei gesund.